Metadata and your tracks. Okay, let's talk about the really fun and stimulating topic of metadata. I hope you catch my sarcasm. It might not be a fun and exciting topic, but when it comes to licensing your music, it's important. So, what is metadata? Metadata refers to the data or data and information that describes your tracks. It contains information like the artist name, song name, album name, genre, who your songs sound like, and so on. It's the sort of descriptive data that helps potential clients find your tracks, and it also tells publishers and supervisors who you are, how to contact you, and so on. There's basically two different types of metadata. The first kind of metadata is the information you embed into your track's property fields so that when people play your tracks in media players like iTunes or Windows Media Player, they'll know the song name, who the artist is, how to contact you, and so on. This is something everyone who is trying to license their music should do by default for every song you start pitching. To tag your track so that the metadata is embedded into your file, simply right-click on the track, open the Details tab, and enter as much information as possible. You can fill out fields for the artist name, album name, genre, BPM, publisher info, your website, and so on. The more you can fill out, the better. Make it as easy as possible for people listening to and screening your music to find you. You might be thinking, but why do I need to do this if I'm going to email someone my tracks? Won't they know it's for me if they get an email from me? Well, they might. But what if someone downloads your tracks, forgets who it came from, and goes back to listen to your songs that are now on their hard drive 6 months later? As I've stated before, most publishers and supervisors are dealing with a really high volume of music. Things frequently get misplaced. Tagging your tracks with the track's metadata is sort of like the digital version of putting your contact information directly on your CD, back when CDs were the norm. Some of you might be too young to remember this, but back when I was starting out in the music business many years ago, the norm when it came to trying to get gigs, license music, and so on was to send CDs out. It was important to have all your contact info clearly labeled on the CD. That way, if someone opened your package, took out your CD, and had it lying on their car seat a few weeks later, they could easily figure out who the CD came from and how to get a hold of the artist if they liked the music. It's the same idea with tagging your tracks. I frequently get files of music sent to me from clients from my music marketing company, Music Pictures, with no artist name in the file. When I download files, it goes into my download folder by default. I normally organize it right away and move the music into a corresponding folder that I have set up for each artist that I work with. But sometimes I get busy and I forget to do this. When there's no name or no metadata in the tracks, I have no idea who the music belongs to. I now make it very clear to all the artists I work with that they need to put their name in the file name of the files they send me, and it's no longer an issue. But if you're pitching your music to someone new, you want to make it as easy as possible for them to easily access as much information about your tracks as possible. So be sure to properly embed as much information as you can about your tracks into your tracks properties. Metadata for music libraries. The other type of metadata you'll need to provide from time to time are the metadata forms that some music libraries will have you fill out if you start working with them. These forms ask for things like artists you sound like, lyrics, BPM, keywords to describe your tracks, and so on. Try to fill these forms out to the best of your ability. Although it can be pretty time-consuming, providing as much information as possible will increase your odds of your music being discovered. Be sure to list things like other artists your music sounds like when applicable, and describe your music as accurately as possible. These sorts of forms tend to be requested more often by stock music libraries that supervisors turn to for certain types of music needs, like background music and so on. It doesn't seem to come up that often with more boutique hands-on publishers and agencies, as they tend to be more hands-on with their music selection and music pitching.